and it's running commands in either one, depending on what type of device it is. It's even auto-detecting it too. So there's 3 different sections to the INI: a detection, a suspend, and an unsuspend. And each one has the commands and the output that it's going to be looking for if the command was run successfully. So it has like a run command and a look for, a run and look for. What this allows you to do is if you've got, say, SMC switches, managed switches, and you want to control those with this, well, you just create an INI file. You put the type of headings, the type to run the command so that you can tell what type of switch it is, and if we find what we're looking for there, then we know it's that type of switch, and yay, we got done. So we've been successfully suspended. You use the INI file, you put in the commands that it needs to run to control that SMC switch, and now you're able to control SMC switches with this too. No coding necessary, all you've got to know is how to control the switch by hand, and you can tell the script how to do it. Let's go ahead and unsuspend this. Now, because these are doing this way, gaming must go on. Because it's doing this through the unsuspend and suspend ways of WHMCS, it also works if they don't pay their bill. So we've had this happen quite a few times. So you've got Juan in Puerto Rico who can't pay his bill, and just as it will automatically suspend a shared customer on like cPanel, it will suspend a dedicated customer now. And so Juan doesn't pay his bill, after the designated time, it turns him off. And when he goes in and says, oh shoot, I need that server up, and he goes in and he pays it, it comes back on automatically. Really, really handy. Allows it so that your salespeople can control the on and off for their dedicated customers, rather than having to call and talk to the network admins, having them, on their time schedule, because we all know how temperamental network admins can be, and turn things off. It allows your sales guys to control and manage their clients. And there we go, we're back up online. You'll notice it does take a little bit longer after it actually comes back up, because not only are we turning it on, but the script is verifying that it's up. So if there was something wrong, those of you who know about switches and whatnot, after you've run the command to turn the port back up, that doesn't necessarily guarantee that the port came back up. It's verifying it, it's checking to make sure the port actually did come back up. So if there was really nothing plugged in there, at least I think on Cisco's, it won't be up because there's nothing plugged into it. In this case, there was something plugged into it, and it's up. So let's go ahead and close out of that. That pretty much, I think that's everything on this page. Let's look at that other page that flashed on the screen a second ago. This is the configuration screen for Cacti stats. You've got the Cacti URL, so we know where your Cacti server is. We've got projected overage email. So every night your cron runs, it pulls the stats from Cacti. It calculates them, computes them, stores it in a cache table in the database at WHMCS. If a customer is projected to go over, and this is the first time we've realized that, it's going to send them an email and say, hey, you're projected to go over, you should probably look at this. It won't send them that email ever again, well, until their next billing month. But for the rest of this month, they've been warned, they're on their own. And we do this out of really courtesy to the customers. Most of them, they're going to be going over, know they're going to go over, and really the first notification is good enough. We don't want to bombard them with emails. After that, when they actually go over, they get another email, and it tells them, all right, your billing cycle isn't done, but you're over. This is how much you're over. This is, the projections, yada yada yada. This is how much it could cost you if you ignore this. Then it won't send them that email again until they go 50 gig above where they last were. So let's say, you know, their limit is a terabyte and they've gone to a terabyte and say 5 gig. It'll send them this email. When they go to a terabyte and 55 gig, it'll send them that email again. And I mean, this one's a little more serious because they're in the realm of being billed. When their billing cycle actually ends and they get billed, then they get this third email saying you were over, you have been billed, a billable item is going to be added to their next invoice. The reason we do that is we don't want people to be surprised by a sudden bill for $4,000 or $5,000. We had a customer get billed for $1,000. With this method, they weren't surprised. They knew it was coming. And this gives some time because WHMCS generates invoices before they're actually due. So yesterday was the day that their invoices would have become due. So we know that they were over. They're going to get a billable item added to their next invoice. That gives you, half a month to talk with them, to work things out, to get things going, because usually these overages are pretty high. And again, when their account is created on Cacti, they get that email that we looked at earlier. The graph background color, that graph that we saw earlier, you can change the background color of that, and the reason for that, if we go back here, and we go to my summary page, and we log in as me, we come down here and go to my products and services, and we go to co-location, this dedicated server that we've been looking at. They get to view that graph, so they see it. They can log in, they can look at their data, they can see where things are going, and it tells them below what's going on. If they're projected to go over, they see that. They get to see their monthly limit, they get to see their current usage, the costs. If they're over now, it shows them how much they're over, how much it's going to cost. It shows them when their billing cycle is going to end, and it shows them the average usage per day. If they're projected to go over, again, it tells them they're projected to go over. It shows them their projected usage, how much they're going to be over, and how much they're projected to have to pay. So a lot of information to the client, lets them know well in advance that they're going to be billed, lets them control their output in enough time that there shouldn't be any surprises when they get these bills. Well, I think that about wraps it up. Again, this is High Speed Web. Thank you for watching, and if you have any suggestions, any ways we can make this better, we would love to hear your tips. One of the things we've been looking at is adding the ability to monitor dedicated connections, so not where their limit isn't a amount per month, but rather a speed. So let's say 4 megabits per second, and you want to allow for burstable billing, for the 95th percentile or whatever percentile you're working with. That's one of the things we're looking at with the next iteration of this plugin. So go ahead and leave us your comments and let us know what you think. We appreciate it. Thank you very much. Bye.